Welcome to the second game of the evening. Up this time is Firmament. Firmament is a new, at time of recording, puzzle adventure game by the legendary game studio behind the best-selling games Mist and Riven, featuring deep storytelling and world building. Discover the story of this seemingly abandoned world as you explore and unlock the mysteries of 3 unique realms and beyond. Featuring a unique steampunk aesthetic, Firmament invites you to explore the legendary deep world-building Scion Worlds is known for. Firmament is a fantastic visual feast with thrilling new sights to see around every corner. At the same time, the world of Firmament feels completely plausible, as though it were constructed with a bigger purpose in mind, a purpose you will be compelled to discover as you play. Wow, this marketing materials love the sound of its own voice.
We know they don't need another hype man, Jesus Christ.
I'm like, also, yeah, Scion Worlds has a type here, because all of that sounds very familiar. It sounds like what they did in Mist and Riven.
Only perhaps with less music-based magic or whatever.
I thought we agreed not to discuss that.
Wasn't that Abduction?
No, there was another one that had even more of that.
Yeah, that was.
All I remember is that there was one puzzle in Myst that was sound-based, and my PC didn't have a speaker.
Yeah. Perils of the 90s, because I remember, they were, Riven was really heavy on the sound, but wasn't great for people who were deaf.
Anyway, back to the game at hand.
Back to Firmament here. So I suppose the first thing to note is, okay, this is technically not a VR game, which is why you are seeing it here on the show, because, as we've mentioned, I think as recently as last week, we typically do not review VR games. We'll do interviews about them, but none of us here have the actual equipment enough to cover VR games as, they are intended.
Because I don't feel like throwing up during a review.
Yeah. And once again, none of us here feel like dropping $1,000
or more
on. I said the plus.
Yeah.
But anyway, but this does have VR and is marketed heavily towards VR, because it's not only out for the PC, it's supposed to come to PlayStation VR, both PlayStation VRs. This is getting a PlayStation 4 version. And it's coming to all the major headsets, Vive, MetaQuest, and so on and so forth. And I remember their previous release, Abduction, being done in the same manner. But anyway, with that out of the way, Petty, you were given this copy because I think you were the only one here who had the computer capable enough to run this.
Yeah. I will say, this game wants to run in weird resolutions.
This is just your week to rant about weird resolutions, isn't it?
Yeah. I guess it really, really wants you to play this in VR.
Would surprise me.
I mean, fair, but, again, money.
Oh yeah, this looks very Wii-based.
Yeah.
This looks like exactly the kind of thing you did in Metroid Prime 3, where you turn your Samus's hand to open a door.
Yep.
only in this case you have a VR helmet, and those motion controllers.
Yep.
Welcome to the Houston round. Be careful.
So
You
yeah,
yourself to this
you
before there's
you're waking up in some kind of either world that has ended, or I honestly can't really tell what the hell happened.
Once
And-
again, that is a familiar theme with Cyan Worlds.
Mhm. You are a keeper. It really isn't explained what.
Yes, the old capital letter generic word
Yes.
trick.
because the box of the store
As you wake up, you are greeted by the ghost of the keeper who was before you.
This fire is important. You will
Your
come
job
here.
is to figure out what the hell
Wait
happened
for the embrace.
and kind of just solve various puzzles.
What the hell happened? Why is everything broken?
Yes.
When
Yeah.
can I go back to sleep?
I mean,
Is this
basically.
connected? Yeah. Is this connected to the Myst games?
Would not be shocked.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, honestly, it looks fine. I wouldn't say it's the most, even with my settings turned up, I wouldn't say it's the most graphically awe-inspiring game, but
It's like some of the art direction's pretty impeccable. Like I like the look of the rocks. Like some of like the interior stuff has that basic ass Unity look that previous game Counterattack was sporting.
yeah, some of it looks like flipped assets, but like a lot of people say it negatively, but like it's fine.
I mean, this isn't an asset flip.
The Myst
Yeah.
By any
Assets
means.
realm, I
Like-
never understood it.
You know,
Now,
store-bought assets are a lot more common than people think, but we
Yeah.
don't have time to get into that.
That's another one to throw on the potential.
Store-bought assets are not in themselves like bad.
Yeah.
It's all in
Plus, we
how
do-
you use them.
Plus, we do seem to be at least moving away from asset flip coverage on YouTube. So, I think outside of Commander Sterling, maybe asset flips aren't the traffic
They're not
sinks.
doing it that much.
I don't know. I unsubbed to their channel a few years ago because I just got so very tired of the 20-minute rants that really didn't need to be that long. Like, and it wasn't so much the bitterness. It was like, okay, really, you've made your point, and it's 5 minutes in, and you keep belaboring it. But we're getting off track.
Yeah.
So, how puzzly are the puzzles?
Right now there are 3 main areas. I honestly don't know how I'm supposed to solve the puzzles. Like, a lot of them aren't really all that clear. So I don't know if I'm just not doing well enough, or if I'm missing an upgrade of some kind in order to actually progress.
This is the not the danger, but the conundrum of reviewing puzzle games when they're fresh-faced. Because this game only came out on May 18th, which is less than a month from date of recording. So
Right.
that now, this is something I found in a lot of the puzzle and adventure games I've covered, and it is, if something's new or pre-release, there's no guide guides.
Yeah.
Unless you're given a guide.
Well, and like the whole conceit of like Myst or whatever is like if you look up a guide or whatever, you might as well just not even play the game.
Fair. I'm like, the thing is, well, there are probably guides out now on the internet, but it's also worth noting because we were not given a guide.
Yeah.
This is something that there have been publishers who have given us guides to their game in order to get through it, because that is the risk when it comes to puzzle games and adjacent things.
Yeah.
You might get stuck on a puzzle and you can't make any more progress.
Yeah.
Like, that typically happens to me when we review a point-and-click adventure game. Like, reach a point where, okay, I'm not exactly figuring out what you wanted from me, and I'm like, the game's either too new, too obscure, or pre-release. All three have happened.
Yep.
Sometimes they converge.
Indeed.
Yeah. So, totally not surprised. And yeah, we like, if we were given a guide, I don't remember seeing it. So,
such is life.
yeah.
We carry on. Or we don't.
Well, if you don't, then you don't carry on with the reviews anymore.
Yeah, fair. Anyway. Your only real method to solve puzzles is this item called the adjunct. You can use it to interact with specifically these like yellow what do I want to call these? Like keyholes almost?
Sure, that works.
Problem-solving holes.
Fair. And yeah, you can usually...
Also, adjunct, ADJUNCT.
Yes.
Lol.
Yeah. That
Noun,
is...
a thing added to something else is a supplementary rather than an essential part.
Yeah, the humor was not lost on me. And yeah... Your only real options are to plug the adjunct into a thing and move it left or right. Or you can roll your mouse wheel if you're on a mouse and keyboard and possibly do a secondary function. So like say for this battery terminal thing, right now it only lets me move it left or right. In another area there is a crane where I can move it forward or back, or I can switch modes and go up and down. And then you can either control the adjunct with E and Q on the keyboard, or I guess for immersion, when you connect it, you can just hold on to left click and just kind of spin it. Just move your mouse, but it locks you in, like you can't look around while you're doing this. So I guess, I mean, it's an option you can do. I wouldn't say it's the best, but yeah, some of the problem the puzzles have is that it's really hard to tell what they want you to do. Which, again, missed. Also, you can't jump, so there are times where you can get caught on the geometry of a level. and you just kind of have to either work your way out of it or teleport back to the pod thing. Which I guess they could possibly do some polish on that if the devs are listening. If you do have a Razer Chroma peripherals, it does have Chroma integration. So, like, when you do things like the teleport travel, it can do cool lighting effects on your keyboard, or like they even have like a little animation that plays for their logo when you load the game in, which is a fun touch, but I could live without it. You know, if that like cost actual development time, I don't know. I'd kind of rather see it used on something a little better. But I guess to each their own. Yeah, music's fine. It has some nice little ambiance type things where like there is a some kind of voice over the loudspeaker that you're possibly nefarious affirmations type things like we're keepers, we're here to help, stuff like that. Something that's like, yeah, these are probably the villains of some kind. I've done enough fiction to know this is not going to end well. Yeah, like, random voice over the loudspeaker saying "we understand" has never ended well in fiction ever. you know? But yeah, I kind of wish the companion, I guess air quotes companion, could be a little more helpful, like if you're having problems with puzzles. Or like, I guess make it a little easier to kind of keep track of what you're doing. Like, some kind of map would be nice here for this, I guess, power station puzzle. Because I don't even know where I'm supposed to start at. Like, the adjunct kind of tells me, how much voltage is running to this main switch, but... And occasionally, like, if there's a circuit... But I don't really know, like... what's actually doing the whole circuit thing. Do you guys have any questions?
What are you doing?
That is a question I'm not even sure of. Like, all I'm guessing I'm trying to line up these batteries to get enough voltage, because this has 115 volts written on it. So I guess I need to try and get that much power to this switch to activate it to progress.
No, that is classic Cyan Worlds.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm flashing back to many a missed puzzle right there.
Yeah. The Mist veterans are currently having war flashbacks currently.
Yeah.
But like, because this is first person, your view is so limited, it's hard to tell like what I'm supposed to be doing. Which I guess, to their credit, I guess if this is how they want it, their game to work, then mission accomplished. But yeah, it's hard to tell where things connect and how they're supposed to. Like, there are these things that kind of look like bus bars almost on the battery terminals. But I don't know how it's supposed to connect very well. Like, yeah, this is moving it away, like... Yeah, I don't know if I'm making things worse or better right now. That's something I've always hated about Myst.
Yeah.
Let me know if I'm fucking up, please, so I can unfuck it. Again, I think I just triggered a core memory in Adam.
Look, I've never been a big fan of Myst or those who took inspiration from Myst. I maintain that The Dig is a horrible game and people need to accept this fact.
Yeah, I unlocked core memory. We're gonna be dealing with this later, Gullix. But yeah. This seems like this would be fun if I at least had more, like, I guess more modern cues to kind of tell me where I should be starting at, because I don't know where the circuit starts. Because there are, like, lights kind of everywhere, but nothing that looks like where the direct start should be. Or, like, how things connect. It's all rather weird. And not in the fun way. In the this is pissing me off way more like.
We are keepers.
I guess any questions or comments from you guys?
We've already asked.
Oh,
Yeah,
I guess
I think I'm
anything
good.
else.
Yep.
What are we looking at price-wise? Fuck, I'm trapped.
Right. So the game clocks in at $34.99.
Ooh. If you liked Myst, have fun. If Myst drove you insane, stay the fuck away.
Well, here's the thing. There's bonus material here. The DLC, such as it is the original soundtrack at $9.99, the digital art book at $14.99, and the digital strategy guide for $3.99.
Did they bundle their own strategy guide with this?
If you pay $4 for it, or you get the Keepers bundle, which is $60. Yeah.
I mean, for this kind of book, for this kind of game, if you want the spectacle and are not a huge fan of solving puzzles by yourself, a strategy guide might help.
Well, I maintain that buying strategy guides, really anytime new millennium, is bullshit and you shouldn't do it.
I mean, yeah, counterpoint, you could also probably find one online or something if people care about this game enough.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that a Cyan Worlds game is going to have a big enough audience to have that.
Right. Like, it'd be
I
one
just
thing
like
if
guidebooks.
If it was like something like where you were had to be concerned about drop chances and need like accurate stuff like that, that'd be one thing. But yeah, something like this that just says how to not fuck it up, you probably find with a YouTube video. But yeah, I guess real quick, because I haven't got too far in this, do you want me to show the other worlds? Because we have this reservoir here that I guess is just the battery puzzle to start with, and looking at the trailer, I guess you can go get like a submersible suit or some kind of submarine and actually go into the reservoir.
I think we're good.
Yeah. Like, it's kind of fascinating, but again, with most Scion World games, if you're looking it up online, it kind of defeats the purpose of playing. Because the whole joy is just kind of figuring it out.
Right.
If this was like, 15, 20 years ago and didn't have like limited time, and I could just like hammer it this away for a few hours a day, I might have more fun with it. But since I have to, only really have like a week or two with it, and then limited time on top of that, with adult obligations, it's hard to recommend.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right then. So, anything else to say on Firmament?
Not really. It's not terrible, but this playstyle is, I don't want to say best left forgotten, but it's not as much of a draw as it was back in Mist's time.
Maybe VR is the missing ingredient here.
Possibly. Like,
Because
if I could handle...
The world design does look nice.
Oh shit, that's right. One thing that pissed me off before we go is ladders. Going
Do you
up
have
and
to climb ladders with the adjunct too?
what? It's a canned animation that if you skip it, it's just a fade to black that is jarring as hell. You can skip it in the menus. So you're either doing a like 15, 20 second ladder climb, or you are skipping it immediately and it is disorienting as fuck. Same with like if you're on a moving platform, which I guess is to cut down on like VR motion sickness, but it makes things really disorienting. So if that's a problem for you, like certain reviewer in this group looks itself, definitely look elsewhere. Anyway, I think that's it for me.
All right. So that'll about do it for this game. Be sure to tune in after the break as Galix will be reviewing Clutter 12. It's About Time, Collector's Edition.